Hey, everybody, it's Jason Cruz with MMA Payout doing the interview, and it is Jamelle Jones with the PFL. He has a fight coming up August 19th. Is that correct, Jamelle?
Yes, sir.
August 19th, and it's the heavyweight semifinal, correct?
Yes, sir. I'm in the
And
playoffs.
in the playoffs, this is no joke. It's the playoffs. It's Jamelle Jones. So, hey, how are you doing, Jamelle?
Jason, I'm doing good. I can't complain. Workouts are done. Just resting.
Awesome. And now we were talking just right off the air. You are living in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, right across the border from where you train. Is that correct?
Yes, I live in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, where I went to college at, and I train in Spokane, Washington.
Okay. So Spokane. So that's the say it again, Sikjitsu gym. That's where Michael Chiesa and Julianna Pena, I believe, came out of. Is that correct?
Yeah, Mike Chiesa's fighting this weekend. Shout out to him, man. I hope he does his thing. Julianna Pena, Sam Cecilia. We can't forget our pioneers, man. We had a lot of guys back in the day also. But yeah, definitely got Jamelle Jones also.
Oh, awesome. And up and comer. So let me step back a little bit. You said you went to college out in Idaho. Is that how you got linked up? How did you get out to you now you're from the East Coast. So how did you get all the way out to Idaho?
Just to make a long story short, I wrestled at North Idaho College. I won a national championship there. I coached there. I met my wife there. I bought a house here.
Wow. And how do and we talked off the air. How do you like the how do you like Idaho? It's a hidden treasure. It's out here if you're in the East Coast Midwest. It's kind of out here, but it's nice and beautiful and green, correct?
Yeah, Coeur d'Alene, Idaho is one of the most beautiful places in America, man. All friendly people. It's not a lot of diversity, but we don't got to deal with crime. We don't have to deal with a lot of things. So I love it here.
So what Jamel's saying is don't move. Don't move to Coeur d'Alene.
Yeah, if you're not used to, yeah, it's not for everyone.
Okay, so let's go back. So now, so you wrestle in North Idaho, and then so how did you get linked up with getting into MMA and the Sikh Jitsu gym in Spokane?
Yeah, I won two national titles in college wrestling. I was a three-time All-American. Pretty pretty accomplished wrestler throughout my career. Um, when college was done, I was still athletic. I was still hungry. I still wanted to compete. So I transitioned into fighting. I started with a local gym out here, Trevor Pringley's, AKA. They taught me all the basics. And then when I wanted to move on, I linked up with a guy named Rick Little, who's my coach. I've been with him now for the last 8 years. And 8 years of hard work with Sikjitsu. I'm at PFL making that money.
Nice. That's good to hear. And so you faced Bruno Cappelozza, correct? Am I correct? The Brazilian. And how are you preparing for him? Do you know anything? First of all, did you know about him before being linked up in the tournament with him?
Most definitely. They call me Mr. Statistic. So I know everybody. If you're ranked in front of me, I know you. If you're ranked in back of me and you think you want to get in front of me, I know you. With that being said, Bruno and I have a mutual friend we helped out in a fight camp, Corey Anderson. I helped Corey Anderson train for Pat Cummins in the UFC, and he was victorious. And then he also helped Corey Anderson train for another Brazilian who he beat. So I respect Bruno a lot, and I knew who he was through Corey Anderson and his fight camps. Because Corey always brings people in to help him.
Okay, I see. So there's going to be no surprises coming up August 19th. What are your expectations for that showdown?
I can tell you this: I either expect to get knocked out or I expect to knock him out. It can go either way. I'm fine with it, but I'm bringing what I do to the table.
Okay, now let me ask you a little bit. Now your background is wrestling. You're a highly decorated wrestler. How was the transition from MMA when you started to just punch people? I mean, were you used to just punching people, or I mean, I would assume that the punching, a little bit of the jiu-jitsu, all of that stuff was a little bit more of a ramp up to learn.
Yeah, so jujitsu was an easy transition. I started doing tournaments and stuff against high-level black belts even before I even went to a practice. And of course I lost, but I was able to compete. Um, the punching thing kind of got me. But now being a seasoned vet, been pro since 2013, stand-up's just part of the game. And I don't even know if I consider myself a wrestler now. But I like to stand, I like to bang, I like to get the job done wherever it goes.
And now, no, how is that kind of go now with the PFL system? With you get more points if you finish somebody, but you yourself have pedigree, a wrestling pedigree. Does that change game plans as far as when the season first started? Does that change game plans? Do you want to focus on, hey, let's get the W and move on, or are you kind of like thinking, we need to get this guy out of here so to get some points?
So they call me the Beast. If you watched anything relating to Jamelle Jones, from football to wrestling to MMA, I beast people. It's not really pretty. Some of the finishes are sickening, but I do come to finish. So even before PFL, we don't get paid for time. We get paid to win. So I want to do that as quick as possible. With that being said, when I first entered the PFL, they needed heavyweights and I was on the market. They gave me a price that I wanted and I was ready to compete. I didn't even think about the tournament because the tournament already started. Literally the maximum points that I was able to have, my opponent already had that, his first fight. So and not only just my opponent, the number 2 guy had 6 points. And then the number 3 guy had 5 points. So when I signed to the PFL, I was thinking about next year's tournament because I signed an exclusive deal. I signed a multi-fight and multi-year deal with PFL. Shout out to them for that and thanks. So I was thinking about the tournament next year and I was thinking about just winning this year, capitalizing on what's in front of me. I went in there and my coach told me the guy can't handle me for 10 minutes. And my coach was actually wrong because he couldn't handle me for 2 minutes.
Nice. Now let me ask you a quick question. Now you're about it lists you at 205, and of course now you're in the heavyweight division. Was there any? I know you said there's no concerns, but like when you get in there and you probably there is a possibility of guys being at least at 265. I know Bruno is listed much heavier than you going into this bout. Does that mean anything, or does that just mean you could eat as much as you want going into this? Don't have to worry about it.
No. I'm buckling down. I'm leaning up. You look right now. I got the gun showing. Look, I got the ass showing.
Nice.
So I'm gonna come in 240 plus pounds.
Okay.
There's no making 205 for me. My body's already lean, so I'm just eating a proper nutrition for heavyweight, but I'm already a big guy. So I could care. The most they can outweigh me is 20 pounds. There were a couple guys actually cutting weight in the PFL, and even in the UFC, there's some big guys cutting from 300 and cutting from 295 and stuff like that. But then they're faced with the objective of having to cut weight. While I'm still game planning, I'm still training all the way up to the whistle. I'm a wrestler, so I don't have no letdowns. I don't stop. I'm focused on my opponent, and that's it until the fight's over.
So is that an advantage of being a heavyweight as far as like, if you were to say, hey, I want to, if someone were to come up to you and say, hey, we could do light heavyweight for you, is that added thing to do during fight week as cutting? Is that an issue? Whereas right now you're in that, I guess you could say, a sweet spot where you can train, but there's no worries about getting on that scale.
Well, I'm a wrestler, so I know how to cut weight and I know how to do it correctly. And it's a system. You have to water load. After your water load, now you can't run, and but you still got to get your heart rate up. And then, so it's a system with that that you have to follow that just takes your mind away from the fight. You're focused on cutting weight. my fight weeks are real chill. And it's just the mental preparation. And I don't have to focus on cutting the weight. I've never missed weight, but I've shown up the weigh-ins 3 pounds over twice. So while I'm at weigh-ins, I had to lose 3 pounds in an hour. And then you got to replenish yourself. Now you're looking for IVs versus resting, fueling up for the fight. So I don't really encourage anyone to cut weight. I've done it all my life. And if you're good, you're good. And if you're tough, you're tough. I do believe in bigger, stronger, faster, but cutting weight's not for everybody, and I don't encourage it.
Now that kind of brings up an interesting question, because like weight cutting is always an issue. This past weekend, a young lady in the UFC, she didn't make weight, and it's been her specifically has been an issue. And then there's people like Cody Garbrandt who's at 135 now. He wants to go down to 125. Is it okay for fighters? Is it okay for fighters to just fight at their own weight? If you feel comfortable at 155, why can't you just do 55? Is there some sort of advantage? Tell me what I'm not seeing.
So that's why I contradicted a little bit. Cody Garbrandt's great. He's top 5 in the world, but he wants to be number 1. So to be number 1, it takes sacrifice. To be number 1, he might have to lose those 10 pounds. I don't really know him that much, but I can tell you it takes sacrifice, and he wants to do what it takes to make it. Nico missed weight this
Nico Montagna.
Yeah, and I feel sorry for her, man. Because it can be a big weight cut. My teammate fought her, Julianna Pena.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, it's just another burden. So she should go up and fight at 135. She'll probably feel a lot more healthier. I went up and I don't cut weight anymore. I came up from light heavyweight, but also my teammate Mike Chiesa came up. He was at 155 and now he's at 170. And you see the results we're doing. I'm literally on out of my last 6 fights, I'm 5-1. And the one I lost, I took on a 1-day notice. Mike Chiesa at 170, he's doing tremendous. You even can go up to Calvin Gastelum, so he's shorter, he weighs less and all of that, and he's still making his waves and doing great things at 185. So cutting weight's not everything. That's all I'm gonna say. I'd rather be in shape and be prepared and fight up than cut weight. You just suck your body out. It's almost like canceling your workouts. Just losing all that weight. You can't replenish that fast. And the older I'm getting and stuff, I actually had organ failure. I cut so much weight. I sucked all the water out of my organs. My body couldn't even function. And for my first title shot at 205 for CFFC, I got hit with a body shot and my body couldn't recover because I was cutting weight all the way up till the last call. So yeah, I'm liking heavyweight, and if anyone has a problem cutting weight, I just say just try out the next weight class. Just try it out, see how you feel.
Now, when you were coaching, what did you suggest to the guys that you were coaching about if they wanted to say, Coach, hey, I think I could win if I lose 10 more pounds? That kind of thing.
In wrestling?
In wrestling.
Yeah, so I was a technician in wrestling. I'm still a technician. So number one, I'm not one to run. So if you want to win and you can't beat this guy, we got to figure out a way to beat this guy. Take things head on, full force. Let's get better, versus cutting the weight. I would encourage them to go up a weight class if that was easier, but cutting weight adds a whole nother stress. And that's just the wisdom from me competing at a high level from youth to adult. I had a couple of my wrestlers. I coached a guy named Terrence McKinney, who he had the fastest knockout. He took a fight on short notice and he had the 4th fastest knockout in UFC history. When he was in college, yeah, he was big. He was like 5'10", 5'11", wrestling 141 pounds.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, he would have been just as good at the next weight class. But from a team aspect, we needed him to cut weight. So he did it. Even when he was fighting, he used to fight at 145 pounds or something like that. And now I think he's fighting up. So, I just take things head on. If you work hard, great things will come from it. Don't worry about the weight.
Yeah. Now
A little bit worry about it.
Now McKinney had a great knockout, but of course he looked like he almost tore his ACL when he celebrated. But it's okay.
Oh yeah, man. It's electrifying, man, because we work so hard, man. Like every MMA fighter, we work so much. We work so hard. We put so much time in, and those moments are just glory, man.
Yeah. Now I don't want to take off any shine about this interview, but I want to go off the board a little bit. Julianna, Pena, Amanda Nunes. What are your thoughts on that? When that happens, and it'll probably happen once Amanda comes back from her COVID issues.
So I went a little crazy in one interview. When the first day I found out, I was talking to maybe Sherdog or something, and they mentioned the same thing, and I went crazy. But I'm just gonna spit it just how it is. First off, I love Amanda Nunes. I think she is the GOAT. I think she's the greatest of all time for women. She's leading. With that being said, with her catching COVID, she canceled my teammate Julianna's plans. Julianna's been working very hard. She just wants her shot. She had to fight to get that shot. Now she's not even getting that fight. My team is very small. We're ran by one general, Rick Little. And since Julianna's fighting at the pinnacle of the sport for the UFC, undisputed bantamweight title, it's a big deal for our team. It's a big deal for Spokane. It's a big deal for the Northwest, even though she's in Chicago. My coach has been staying at Julie's house, prepping her, doing her training camp. And if he's there, that means no one's here. Mike Chiesa's fighting on that same card. He had to take his fight camp to Vegas. I'm stuck here working with several different types of groups to prepare for my fight without my head coach. So and then also we have a guy on the Ultimate Fighter, Brady Heimstead, who put his training camp on hold. I don't know really how it ends up, but he's still training. So we have all these great fighters. Our team is doing unbelievable stuff. And if you see where we train at, we train in the gutter. Nothing fancy. We don't care, but we bring it. We fight. And fight.
Yeah. It is Spokane. It's Eastern Washington. So they're scrappy.
So with that being said, Amanda Nunes stripped a lot from us. My coach's time, Julianna's financials for her family, my preparation for my tournament, the PFL. If I win this next fight, I fight for $1 million. This is a big deal, So with all that being said, we're willing as a team, all of our up-and-comers, all of our vets, to put it on hold for Julianna, my coach, wasting his time away from his 1-year-old son, away from his family, to train Julie, all for it to be thrown away. So I was a little bit upset. I do, and I want to continue to say this. I wish her the best. Her children, her child, I hope her child didn't catch it. And if it did, I hope it's okay. Her wife, I hope she's okay. And if she caught it, but when we're all said and done with it, I was a little bit upset. Because we all were sacrificing. It was more than just that. We wanted that fight, and we all put a lot on hold for that.
Yeah, I think you said it really well, Jamelle, and pointed it out, that the fact that it's not just Amanda Nunes, it's Julianna's issues and basically the domino effect that happens with the gym, because obviously that's for your gym, Sikjitsu. It was the biggest fight at that time, and then you had postponed it. Everything kind of goes awry because you know, like you said, you could be fighting for $1 million, but that could you might not get all the resources because Julianna's fighting at the same time, and you got to split it up, that kind of thing. So I
Yeah,
mean,
so
it's yeah.
we're doing
Go,
things. My coach was doing this thing, man. I got paragraphs on what to work on. He's telling me where to go, you know, so he is the general. He really, you're not going to see us, you're not going to hear an excuse because of that from me. We're still making things happen, but you got to look at it realistically. Mike Chiesa's fighting for one of the biggest fights of his life. If he wins this, potentially he could be fighting Kamaru Usman for the belt. You know what I mean? Kamaru's already fought everybody in that weight class in the top 10, except maybe 2 people. And Mike's one of them. So if he goes out here and he just wins this against Vicente, who's a very tough opponent, he's now in title contentions, even though he still is in title contentions. But
just moves them one more rung up that ladder. Yeah.
Yeah, so we did a lot without our main general, man, a guy who's been in Mike's corner every single fight. You know, Mike has over 20 fights. Rick's been there. I started at Sikjitsu when I was 0-1, and now I'm at the pinnacle of the sport. So my coach has seen me grow, and he's not here when we're fighting for PFL for a lot of money, you know. So I was hurt, man. But also I want the well-being of Amanda Nunes, because she is the GOAT, and she does deserve to do things on her own time. I do want the well-being for her. I pray she's okay.
Yeah. No doubt. So now, you said Jamelle, you said now, you signed a multi-year deal with PFL. So does that mean after you win the $1 million this year, you're going to win the $1 million next year?
Yep. Yes, sir. So I'm on track to be with PFL next year, man. People keep saying UFC this, UFC that. All my friends, oh, you're UFC bound. But for real, I love the UFC. That's where I want to be at. I told people in other articles that was my goal. But when it's all said and done, the PFL is a great organization, and they're paying guys for their performances, and I'm getting paid. So I have a family. I'm PFL all the way. I'll be there next year. But forget next year, I have $1 million sitting right in front of me. I have a 25% chance of winning this. And even though I'm the lowest ranked guy for the PFL, don't sleep on me, because I got bad intentions, man. And that's all I can say.
Awesome. So Jamelle Jones, thank you so much for your time. Once again, your fight is on the co-main to, I guess, one of the other GOATs, Kyla Harrison, who fights on that card. But you face Bruno Cappelozza on Thursday, August 19th on ESPN. Jamelle, I wish you a great luck. Hey, Washington guys got to stick together. So thank you very much for your time. Well, Coeur d'Alene, but
yep, I represent Washington. I get my hair cut out there. I train there. You know, there's nothing to do in Idaho but live.
Well, yeah. Hey, I love Coeur d'Alene is a great place. You could go low, you could go undercover down over there. But I love Idaho. It was great talking to you. I'll talk to you again after your win later this month, right?
Yeah, let's do it. I'm coming out guns blazing. Win, lose, or draw, I put my heart and soul into this. So I don't really care how it turns out. I just want to perform. Yeah, well, you'll hear from me, and thanks for this interview.
Hey, Jamelle, thank you so much for your time. We wish you the best. We wish the best for Sikjitsu and everybody else affiliated. Have a good night.
Thank you, brother.